Good morning, friends. This is Terry from the Frugal Connection. The other day I recorded a video making Middle Eastern quinoa, lentil, stuffed zucchini. And so today I want to share that video with you and give you some ideas of what you can do with zucchini. I still have this one and this one left from my sister's garden. I also have two in the refrigerator that I had purchased before I went to visit, and so I didn't realize I was going to be getting zucchini. So the next up on my videos, I believe at some point soon in the near future, I'm going to do a video on how to make zucchini cake. I might do some zucchini muffins or figure out some different recipes and different ways that you can use zucchini, because this is the time of the year zucchini is in abundance, and that seems to be the one vegetable that grows whether you want it to or not. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're all having a good day. Today is absolutely the most gorgeous day that we've had all summer. It's bright sunshine. There's a cool breeze. The temperatures are in the 70s, and there's like zero humidity at all. So I wish the entire summer would be like this, but it's not. So anyway, enjoy the video, and I will talk to you soon. I'm going to do some prepping for dinner tonight. I am going to be making Middle Eastern lentil and quinoa stuffed zucchini. And so I want to get the quinoa cooking. I want to get the lentils cooking while I'm waiting for that. I figure while I'm in the kitchen already and the kitchen's getting warm because of the oven being on, I might as well get everything done all at once. So I have, what did I do with it? Oh. I have already rinsed my quinoa. I have 1 cup of quinoa that is rinsed, and I'm putting that in here. And then I have 2 cups of water that I'm going to add to it. And then basically I bring this to a boil on the stovetop, and then I will turn it down as low as I can and let it simmer for about, usually it takes about 15 minutes or so, 10-15 minutes. And then I just keep the lid, shut it off, put the lid on, and let it sit for a little while. And then you'll fluff it up with a fork. But if you want to try this, you can just purchase some quinoa and follow the directions on the package. That's the easiest way to tell you. So I'm gonna get that going in a second. I'm gonna put this out of the way. And then in this pan, I am going to add my lentils. And I am going to use about a cup of lentils. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put 2 cups in here because I will use the lentils for something else this week. I think it's good to prep ahead of time as much as possible for your week because you never know what can happen. And when you're eating plant-based whole foods, I learned a lesson this weekend. I went away for the weekend. I had some sort of plan. I brought some food with me, but I didn't plan for every meal. And then I ended up on Saturday night because I was tired. I was at somebody else's house. I just chow down on some things that I have not eaten in over a year. And I woke up in the middle of the night feeling very, very ill. So lesson learned. I'm going with a plan from now on so that I am prepared no matter what. And that's half the battle, especially if you're trying to lose weight, is to always have a plan going in. Like if I know we're going to be eating at a restaurant, I will always check the menu ahead of time so that I can make sure that I know what I want before I get there. Otherwise, I will always probably make a bad choice. I'm going to chop up this onion. That I had a little bit of the onion left from the fritters, and I'm going to add that to the lentils as well as a bay leaf and some pepper and a little bit of garlic powder because I just want to infuse some flavor into that while it's cooking. And I'm just giving this kind of a rough chop. It doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, and I'm going to put 1 bay leaf in there with it and some black pepper. So I should bring it over here so you can see what I'm doing. Some black pepper and just a little bit of garlic powder. Okay, and then because I have 2 cups of lentils, I'm going to add about 6 cups of water to this. Get this on the stovetop. I'm going to start that out on about a medium heat and just keep my cover ajar on that. And then I'm going to put these on there too. So I will meet you back here when it's time to flip the zucchini. I decided to go ahead and start prepping the zucchini that I'm going to use for my zucchini boats for dinner. And also the quinoa is done. So again, that's why I'm telling you to follow the directions on the package of quinoa that you get, because I think depending on the brand, it just varies. So do that. And my lentils are in the middle of cooking, and those take about 20 minutes. And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I think this one is a good sized one. I kind of feel like if I use this is so huge that we'll never eat all of this. And it might be better off to use that to grate and use it in zucchini cake or zucchini muffins, all kinds of things. Zucchini bread is a good one. So I'm going to cut my ends off. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this lengthwise in half. Oh my goodness, apparently my eyesight is not allowing me to do things right. Okay, it's not too bad in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I am going to scoop out all the seeds in this bowl, and I start right about where I see the seeds start here, and I just dig my spoon in there and hollow it out. Now, you don't want to make it so thin that nothing will, that you cut through all the way to the outside. But at the same time, you want to make some space for your filling to go. So there's that one. I'm going to cut a little more out of this. And because I didn't measure correctly, or when I was cutting it in half, my knife decided to do its own thing. It's not perfectly in half, so this one's going to be deeper than the other one. And especially these giant ones, because they have been allowed to grow so big that their seeds are going to be big. And so you want to get all those seeds out of there. If I was using a small zucchini, the seeds are barely noticeable, so generally I don't even mess with that. This is a different, unlike other squashes where you really do need to remove all the seeds, zucchini's a little different. So this is nice. This has got a nice cavity there that we're going to use to stuff. And I think, because there's 3 of us eating, that I'm going to do one more. And I'm going to take I don't know what one to use. I think I'll take this one. It's got a little crooked neck there. I'm going to cut that and set that to the side and use that for something else. Cut this end off. And again, I'm going to cut it in half right down the middle. And there you go. So now I'm going to go ahead and scoop this out as well. Okay, so we have our zucchini boats ready to go. And as soon as those lentils are done, I can put together the filling. I'll meet you back here then. I was at my sister's this weekend, and she has a large garden, and she gave me a ton of zucchini. And so I am coming up with these recipes to use up the zucchini that she gave me. The problem with zucchini is when you freeze it, you can grate it and then put it in the freezer. And that's great, except it's full of moisture, so you're just going to have to make sure once you thaw it out that you put it in some cheesecloth or a tea towel and just wring it out really, really well so that all that moisture comes out. All right, so what I have here is I have 2 large zucchini with cut in half lengthwise, with the inside scooped out, all the seeds, especially with these large zucchini, their seeds get really big and you don't want to eat those. So I took those out, and I have cooked up a pot of quinoa, and I also have lentils cooking on the stove. And in the meantime, what I've done is I have chopped and finely diced 1 small onion, And I also minced 2 cloves of garlic. And I'm going to put this into a pan. I should say into a bowl. So let me go ahead and dump in my onion, my garlic. My garlic's on the moist side because I purchased a large bag of garlic and I didn't want it to go bad, so I cut it all up. I peeled it all. I didn't cut it. I peeled it all and then I put it in a double freezer bag so that it wouldn't stink up my freezer, and I put it in the freezer. And so then when I need garlic now, I just pull out a few cloves of garlic and let it thaw for just a minute or two. It doesn't take long at all. And then chop it or grate it or mince, whatever I need it for, and it works great. The only time that would not work is if you're using garlic in a raw application, like some dips have raw garlic, and I just find it gets mushy. So that's not what you want. And to this bowl, I am now going to add, I'm not going to put all this quinoa. I cooked up 1 cup of quinoa and it like triples in size pretty much. So what I want to do is take approximately 2 cups of quinoa. This is a 2/3 cup measuring cup. So I'm going to take 2 cups of quinoa, and I'm also going to grab a can of diced tomatoes out of my little pantry here. I'm going to get this open. I'm going to put in a can of diced tomatoes. And then I'm going to pull and grab 2 cups of the cooked lentils. And they are about done, so they should be ready to go. Okay. I could use fresh tomatoes in here, but I don't have any, and I find that the canned tends to work better. All right, I need a spoon. Okay, mix this all together. And now let me go grab 2 cups of the cooked lentils. Okay, I have, so this is the mixture of quinoa and lentils and onion, garlic, tomatoes. And to this, I am going to add a 1/2 cup of chopped parsley because we're doing a Middle Eastern dish. I am going to also add in a teaspoon of garlic powder to this. I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of salt. And again, you can omit the salt if you're not doing salt. I'm going to add to this also a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin, about a 1/4 teaspoon of coriander. I'm also adding black pepper. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of tahini. Now this jar just got open and I mixed it, but problem with tahini, it separates, so I'm making a mess. Okay. Let me mix this all together. All right, and now wipe this up. This is the hazards of a small kitchen. It's like there's no room for anything. And I'm going to take my boats and lay them in here, and it looks like I'm only going to be able to fit 2. All right. And basically what you want to do is just stuff them. Now, because these are for dinner, I'm not going to bake these now. It's still not even lunchtime yet. I'm going to get these stuffed, and then I'm going to cover them with plastic wrap. Or actually, I'll probably cover them with foil. I know people have different ideas about that, but I don't. I'm going to use the foil because I'm going to bake them covered in the oven when the time comes. And I will meet you back here when I'm done baking them and let you know what they look like, what they taste like, and we'll see how this recipe is and whether this one is a keeper. Okay, friends, I pulled it out of the oven. It baked for an hour, covered. I had it covered and it baked for an hour. And so I pulled it out. It's still, I have the other pan still in the oven because those were the larger ones and I felt like they needed maybe 10 more minutes. But this is perfect. It is not mushy. I didn't want it to get mushy like sometimes zucchini can. And so it's soft, it's easily cut, but yet at the same time it's kind of holding its shape. And so I just want to give this a little taste test and see what this tastes like. Right, it's very, very hot though, so I just don't want to burn my mouth. Very good. That's really, really good. The filling is so delicious. And I feel like the tahini gave it a really good flavor that normally, you know, when I used to make this all the time, but I made it with ground beef. And since I started eating plant-based whole foods, you know, obviously I'm trying to come up with some new recipes, some different ways of eating. But when I used to make it, I never used the tahini. I just would add all the other seasonings. So this is really good. And I think that tahini just kind of gives it just a little bit different flavor, more of the Middle Eastern style. So I like it. That's a keeper. We'll get these posted. I'll put the link in the description box below, and that will be on my website, thefrugalconnection.com. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up. It does help with YouTube to get my videos noticed more. And again, thank you for taking time out of your day and spending it here with me to watch these videos. I want this to be a way to just kind of show some different ways of cooking that are healthy, nutritious, and yet very frugal. Lentils are cheap, quinoa is cheap, zucchini was free because I got it from my sister, and it's delicious, it's nutritious, it's frugal. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.